diagnosis was a huge lift off my shoulders because it showed me that I was not broken or damaged. There was nothing wrong with me. I was just different. What's the harm in just getting tested?
Yeah.
You might find out that, yes, you do, or you might find out it's something else.
If healing wasn't needed, there might not be a healing train for us to hop on to have these painful conversations and address the wounds that need to be healed. Whether we are aware of our wounds or they are suppressed or ignored, we have them. They linger in the background. They show up in triggers. They appear in our reactions, in our day-to-day lives. And they will be that culprit you can't get rid of until you face it head on. Thank you for joining me on yet another season of the Healing Train podcast. I'm Rania, a survivor of narcissistic abuse, a self-made woman, a fighter, a light worker. I show up here in this space hoping to make a difference in just one person's life. If that's you, I'm happy you found me. And if you know someone who will benefit from these talks, share it, comment, share your thoughts, experiences, share your wins, share your struggles. Join me on the special episodes I announce on this show where your voice can be heard. Yes, you. Your story matters too. The lessons you learned can help another soul. So come aboard the Healing Train every Wednesday, where we will laugh, cry, and heal together. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to my guest, Kim Rodriguez. She is a web designer and tech guide, an entrepreneur and leader in her field. Kim is the founder of Flutter Focus Consulting, where she designs stunning websites, landing pages, and funnels. She helps manage tech setups and supports ADHD entrepreneurs. As a matter of fact, her tagline is empowering women with ADHD to thrive in business. There's more to Kim that we will get to know. She admits to having a quirky humor and loves offbeat hobbies and subjects. Come with me and have a listen to my conversation with Kim. Now, every time I witness a strong person, I want to know, what dark did you conquer in your story? Mountains do not rise without earthquakes, by Catherine McKinnott. Welcome to the show, Kim. So happy to have you here. As you just heard me say this quotation, somewhere along the journey, we must have conquered something big to bring us to where we are today. And I'd like for you to share, what mountains did you have to climb and earthquakes you had to deal with to be who you are today? Tell us your story.
Oh my goodness. So many mountains and so many earthquakes. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. I was always the kid that was more sensitive than the others, so I became a target. So I was kind of bullied throughout my school years. When I was 10 years old, so this would actually be back in like 86, my parents decided to divorce, and my dad married a woman who was not very nice. So for the next few years, I went through some mental abuse, being told I was no good, that no one would ever love me, that I'd never pretty much amount to anything. In 1997, or no, I'm sorry, 1996, I met the love of my life. Back in the years where I was going through everything with my stepmom, there was this song called Hold On that was very popular at the time by Wilson Phillips. And whenever things would go awry, I would listen to that song. And that's what kept me going through all those years. Because it would say somebody was going to come and take you away from all of this.
Right.
Sure enough, when I met my husband, he's the one who gave me the strength to kind of walk away from all of that. Other than that, every year, even though I was happy in my love life, I still struggled with my career and just getting things off the ground. When I was 40, I was finally diagnosed with ADHD. Before that, I always felt like everything was like a struggle. I felt like I was swimming upstream. What
Mhm.
came natural to some people was struggle for me.
Mhm.
So the ADHD diagnosis was a huge lift off my shoulders because it showed me that I was not broken or damaged. There was nothing wrong with me. I was just different, and I needed to approach things from a different angle in order to find happiness and find success. And at that time, I made it my determination and my drive to learn as much as I could about ADHD, to help other people who struggle with ADHD, to let them know that it's okay. Again, you're not broken. You're not, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just different, and we need to look at things differently.
Mhm.
And so that began my journey on where I am today. Another earthquake that happened along that journey, of course, in 2019, my husband had a serious stroke. Um, so now I not only try day to day to deal with my own struggles, I help him day to day deal with his. So
Mhm.
that brings us full circle up to today.
Wow, Kim, it seems like just when you think you're getting a break, something hits you, right?
Yeah.
But I would
Yes.
say this is life for everyone, and we're always prepared for the next step. So, listening to your story, it makes me feel that perhaps there was a reason that your husband is the one in your life. He helped you heal some of your wounds and help you give you your strength to prepare you for what's to come next, right? Nobody knew it
Yes.
was coming, obviously, but it helped you, and your diagnosis helps you understand yourself better, right? And
Yes.
learn tools to manage. So can you share with us more about the ADHD part? How is it actually affecting you, and how do you see it affecting other people?
Um, ADHD, especially in women, is not really talked about much.
Hmm.
You hear about it in boys, and growing up, it was always, oh, well, it was the boys who were undisciplined. And the fact that it looks different in women, a lot of women go undiagnosed for years
Right.
because we aren't the ones bouncing off the walls and, playing on the furniture. We're more the daydreamers, the ones who are lost in our own little world.
Mm.
Um, so that affects us a lot because, like I said, it's not as outspoken as it is with the boys.
Yeah.
Um, and with that, we struggle with time management. We struggle with staying organized. We struggle with the voices because our chaos is not around us, it's within us.
Yeah, it's
So
inside.
we hear those voices in our head. Our thoughts go 100 miles an hour. This leads to anxiety, depression,
Mm.
different things that also go along with the ADHD because of the fact that we're living through all of this without it being like, oh well, there's something wrong with this person. We need to get them checked out. It's just like, well, you would be better if you applied yourself, and you can do this if you just did this. And
Right,
so that builds up that shame over the years of,
right.
yes, why can't I do what everybody's telling me to do?
Hmm.
So that's where the real struggle is, with women with ADHD.
Are you able to share with us some tools that to help us manage whoever is experiencing ADHD, even if they're not diagnosed yet, but they can relate to some of the things you mentioned? They go, "Oh yeah, I think I do that. Oh yeah, I think I sometimes behave like this."
That's the part that I'm still kind of struggling with myself, is finding the right tools,
Okay.
because there are tools that work with some people and then they don't work with others because of course everyone is different.
Right.
Some of the ones that are out there are like using schedules such
True.
as like maybe Google Calendar, Asana,
Hmm.
Motion, putting everything like on a to-do list. Also, timers, like setting a timer for, I'm going to work for 15 minutes
Hmm.
and then I'm going to take a break, or I'm going to work for 20 minutes and then take a break, and then having that timer. Some other tools that people use would be like organizers to help keep things minimal.
Hmm.
Again, like
Because you get
I
overwhelmed, right? When it's too.
right, exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah, like I said, I'm still trying to find what works for me.
Right.
So I don't really like to tell people, oh, well, you should try this or
Yeah.
you should do this because I don't want it. I don't claim to be an expert and I don't want people to be like, oh, well, Kim told me to do this and it would solve all my problems. And yeah, that's not how it works.
No, totally understandable. It's not a one size fits all in anything, actually. There's nothing
Right.
out there that you can say it works for everyone. But
Mhm.
at least the what I get from you is try and get organized and try and do
Mhm.
things in small doses so you don't get
Mhm.
overwhelmed. That's a great tip.
Right.
Already right there, if someone can, that's
Yes.
a takeaway for someone, that's awesome, right?
Right. There's a saying to eat the frog. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's like take the biggest thing and devour that, and then it makes everything else easier.
Okay.
I've never liked that saying personally because for me, looking at uh the hardest task or the biggest task to
Mm.
me gets overwhelming and it makes me push everything away.
Right.
So what I found is, and I love this. I saw this on an ADHD TikTok where she was talking about make a list of everything you want to do or that you have to do, and then pick one item.
Hmm.
Whatever seems most appealing to you, do that item. And if that's all you get done in the day, you're okay. If you get that item done and you feel like, hey, let's get more done, pick another item, but don't overwhelm yourself. I used to think that unless you were the 9 to 5 person, getting up at 5 a.m., working all day, 8 days a week, putting in 80 hours a week, you were not successful. And
Yeah.
then I was listening to a podcast from Mel Robbins, who I absolutely admire. She is amazing.
Hmm.
And she herself deals with ADHD.
I know.
And she was talking about the ADHD brain. And what I love is she was like, if you can only give 20% that day,
Hmm.
so say you can only work for 2 hours that day before your brain is like, I can't do anymore,
Yeah.
but you give it your all in that 20% and you do everything you can in that 20%, then you're already ahead of the game. And that just totally changed my outlook on life because I don't have to work 80 hours a week to be successful and put myself in health risks or my brain you literally shuts down when it's like
Yeah.
enough is enough, and
Hmm.
I don't have to feel guilty about that as long as I do everything I can in the time that I have mentally and physically, then I'm ahead. And it was just a beautiful eye opener for me.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you found some things to do to help you in your day to day. Kim, going back to having some toxicity in your life early on, if you don't mind me going back there again.
Of course.
I admire Gabor Mate very much. I don't know if you know about him, but he talks a lot about ADHD. He's written books about it and about trauma and all of that. And I remember attending one of his webinars once, and he mentioned that there's a correlation between developing ADHD and being in an abusive relationship of some sort, especially growing up with a caregiver parent in this case. Is that something that crossed your mind? I mean, I know we're both not like qualified to talk about that stuff here, but like I just wanted to know from your perspective as someone who's lived it, do you feel that it's something that got developed because of the abuse you lived through?
I've heard that theory quite a bit, and I think in some people's case it could be true.
Right.
But when I look back on my life, I look back at I've had these struggles since I was maybe 3 or 4 years old.
Right.
My dad didn't get divorced, and I didn't get into that toxic relationship until I was 13, or I'm sorry, 10 years old. And then I didn't really enter fully into that toxic relationship till I was 13. So
Mhm.
that's about 10 years that other than being bullied, I had pretty much a happy childhood. And
Okay.
even with the bullying, it was like 2 or 3 years before that even occurred that I was starting to have these symptoms.
Mhm.
So while I'm not discounting the theory, because I definitely have looked at things I deal with because of the abuse,
Yeah.
and people that I've talked to that have been through abuse that deal with things that are very similar.
Right.
The fact that these symptoms started before, then I know that these are true ADHD symptoms and not
Mm-hmm.
just the trauma
Mm-hmm.
effect in my life.
Maybe it just made it worse,
Right,
but you already had inclination to it. Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Like I can remember in first grade, I was the kid who was always getting up and walking around class when they should be sitting in their desk working. I was talking to my friends while the teacher was talking. So yeah, this has been
Hmm.
my whole life.
A brief stop at a station. Most of us are healing from something. And on the Healing Train podcast, I hold space for you to heal with me. Healing from being conditioned. Now, there's a topic I want to discuss on the show, and I invite you to be on it. Share your story, share your experience, share the moment when you have lifted the blindfold and you realized, I've been conditioned. What has been the effects on your life from being conditioned? What are you doing about it now? I invite you to be part of this movement, part of this healing from our conditioning. Click the link in the comment section and follow the instructions. Your voice will be heard on this show, the Healing Train podcast. This show is proudly sponsored by Say It Out Loud GG, led by the inspiring Judith Diaz, an avid change maker and passionate advocate for speaking up and raising awareness. The Healing Train podcast is honored to have her support. Now let's get back to the show. So would you say now that what you've been through led you to the work that you do today?
Um,
Is there a
Definitely,
relation?
in a sense, yes. Because the fact that, like I said, I want to be able to help other women
Mm-hmm.
who struggle. I've come across a lot of women that after working with me, they're like, when we first get together working, they're like, oh, well, I don't have ADHD, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. And I just share my story of what I've been through. And as our relationship progresses, they're like, you know what? I might have ADHD. So I always tell them, hey, if you think you might, go get tested, that, there's no harm in that. And some of them have come back and said, yeah, I got diagnosed, and it's really been a change in their lives. And
Mm-hmm.
I just find that interesting, how I'm able to help them to get that diagnosis and start to make that journey and change in their life.
Mm-hmm. So do you mind sharing with us more about what you do, how someone could work with you?
I am a web designer. I build websites for female entrepreneurs, specifically those with ADHD, but I love working with any women.
Yeah.
I also do tech work. I help build funnels through high level automation, set up emails, set up hosting and domain, and different things like that. You could reach me either through my website at flutterfocus.co or also on Facebook. I also have a networking event that I do once a month for women to come together and kind of empower each other, help, build each other up. And that usually is done. I used to do it on Fridays. Now it's the second Wednesday of each month.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, you can find information of that through my Facebook as well. And then I also have a Facebook group called Nero Biz Network, which is a place for women entrepreneurs to come together and help build each other up as well as advertise their businesses.
Awesome. And I take it you're managing your own schedule. You get to do what you want when you want, and that helps you. Also taking care of your husband right now with his needs. So that works for you, right?
Yes. It does. I tried doing a 9 to 5, but with his unique circumstance,
Yeah.
no boss was going to be understanding for I can't leave him alone during the day.
Yeah.
So no boss is going to be like, yeah, sure, bring your husband to work. No problem. Or even like the time to take off to take him to the doctor or to even therapy. So I was at a point where I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to provide for us? And I don't know how spiritual you are, but I am I consider myself to be fairly spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And being a Christian, I feel like, God or the Holy Ghost or whatever you believe came to me and gave me this chance and this opportunity, telling me you need to work for yourself. You need to build your own business. And so that led me on the journey to becoming an entrepreneur and being able to schedule my time to be here for him and his needs, as well as my own sanity as well.
There goes the mountains and the earthquakes all over again. You're just climbing it one at a time, pushing through
Yes.
with belief and faith. I admire you. It's
Thank you.
it's awesome the work that you are doing, and I really wish you all the best. And
Thank you so
thank you for
much.
this conversation and for sharing with
Yes.
us whatever you can. And if anyone that knows that they have ADHD and want to work with Kim, please reach out to her. And all the information will also be in the description below the video, so you could reach out to her. Any last words?
Yes. Um, just like I said, if you think you might have ADHD or you're curious, definitely talk to your doctor about how you can go about getting a diagnosis.
Hmm.
Today, it's not that hard. I know when I first started looking into ADHD, it wasn't covered by insurance, and the closest place to get tested was 200 over 200 miles away. So
Mm,
it made it difficult, which delayed my own journey to getting diagnosed. But
right.
today it's so simple. You can get diagnosed online, and most insurances will cover it. So if you think you might, definitely, what's the harm in just getting
Yeah.
tested? You might find out that yes, you do, or you might find out it's something else which you can handle at that time. But definitely, give yourself that peace of mind that you're not crazy. Um, in the words of this book that I once read, you're not lazy, crazy, or stupid. So
Hmm.
just definitely go for it.
Perfect. That's a great advice. Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you for
Oh,
everything.
well, thank you for having me. I truly enjoy it. And I think you're awesome as well, Rania. And
Thank you.
just thank you so much.
Before you hop off the train, if something in today's ride stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it. Hit follow and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Want to dive deeper or have a topic you'd love us to explore? I'm all ears. Drop your questions, thoughts, or suggestions. We're in this healing journey together, and your voice matters here. Just drop a message to guest@healingtrain.ca. I am listening. And until next time, keep on healing you and keep riding with me on the healing train.